Good morning, and thank you for joining. I'm Mara Boggs, Senator Manchin's State Director and a fellow combat veteran. Today, we are here to discuss the VA Asset and Inventory Review, or AIR Commission. Although this bipartisan bill was signed into law 4 years ago, we are just now seeing the effects, which are worse than expected. Under this bill, the VA hospitals in Clarksburg, Beckley, and Huntington will be greatly diminished. That is why yesterday, Senator Manchin, along with Senator Capito, reintroduced the Eliminate the Air Act, which will save our VA hospitals in West Virginia and countless other rural VA hospitals across the nation. Today, Senator Manchin, along with Senator Capito, wants to hear from veterans all across the state so that they can take your concerns to the VA and stop these drastic and harmful cuts. We have hundreds of veterans watching this at 6 different locations and virtually in the state. All viewers have been muted, but questions are welcome in the question and answer box in WebEx. You are also welcome to email your questions or concerns to townhall@manchin.senate.gov. That's townhall@manchin.senate.gov. And we will share your questions and concerns with the VA. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Senator Manchin, a friend to all veterans, who has the most special of guests to recognize.
First of all, thank you all for joining. It's impressive to see how many veterans that we have on the call from across the state. First of all, let me say this. To my staff that have worked so hard putting this together, to Senator Capito's staff, my dear friend who's on here with us, and her staff who has worked hard to put all this together. I want to thank all of you. But before we begin, I want to mention an extremely special guest who is joining us from Huntington, Woody Williams. He's a World War II Medal of Honor recipient, and he is here today and would like to say a few words now. So my dear friend Woody, it's yours.
Well, thank you very much, Senator. Appreciate it very much. And we are so thankful for what you guys are doing to head this thing off and get rid of it. As you well know, I was in the VA for 15 days just recently. I couldn't have received more perfect care if I'd been able to afford it. And they took such good care of me, and the doctors were very considerate, very concerned, and very passionate about what they were doing. So we have got to kill this thing somehow, because had I had to go to the hospital, and the VA wasn't here, they didn't have any inpatient, I'd had to go to Cabell or St. Mary's, and both of those are full. Sometimes you have to wait hours just to get examined. So we've got to stop this thing somehow, and we appreciate all of your effort and Senator Capito's effort, and I believe all of us Virginians would, in one wild yell, say, let's stop it. We can't have this. So thank you so much, Senator.
It's always great to be with you, and we just appreciate you more than you know. Let me say before we get started that I want to take a moment of silence here.
I can't see the senator.
Are we not on? Do you not have us on? Marcus,
We can hear you, Senator.
Let me just say before we get started, I want to say that we need to take a moment of silence. This horrific tragedy to these 19 young children and what we've seen happen in Texas. It's not who we are as a country. It's not who we are as a society. And the sadness I have and the grief I have for all those people is just unimaginable. I know Senator Capito and all of us feel the same way, that this is a horrific tragedy that I can't even fathom how families can deal with this. To lose a child, but lose it in this horrible, horrific, violent way is unbelievable and unacceptable. So let's take just a moment of silence to remember those who are suffering so much with the loss of their children and the families that are going through this horrific time. Thank you all. I'd like to go around the horn so everyone can introduce themselves. And first we have Jeremy Harrison with Helping Heroes, Inc. in the Northern Panhandle. Jeremy, share the numbers of the veterans in attendance with you.
Yeah, so good morning, Senator Manchin, Senator Capito, and everybody else involved. It's kind of tough to follow that up, but I'm going to do my best. We're here with about 25 veterans and veteran supporters, including Senator Ryan Weld. The event's hosted by the Northern Panhandle Veterans Council, and we're very proud to be here with you today.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for being part of this. It's very important for us to get all of your inputs. Now we have Joe Krieger with Charlestown VFW, Post 3522 in the Eastern Panhandle. Joe, share your numbers with us.
Good morning, Senator Manchin and Senator Capito. I'm here with 13 combat veterans and 2 supporters. We are proud to join you in this effort.
Thank you, Joe. Next I have to give a disclaimer. We have Commander John Alloy, who is my cousin, with the Clarksburg VFW, Post 573 in North Central West Virginia. John, if you will, share your numbers of your veterans in attendance with us.
Good morning, cousin. We have 14 veterans here today. We have 2 past state commanders for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and we have a past state commander from the American Legion here with us today.
Thank you, John. Next, we have Ronnie Wheeler, VFW Post 9926 in Mason County. Ronnie, if you can share yours with us.
And Senator Capito, I have 18 Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan veterans here with us today.
Thank you, Ronnie. Next, we have Tom.
I also have the state commander of the VFW, Jeff Elkins.
Oh, God. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you. I see you back there. Next, we have Todd Morris, who is with us at the Charleston Area Alliance in Charleston, West Virginia. Todd, if you'd share your numbers with us, we'd appreciate it.
Good morning. We have representatives from the Marine Corps League Detachment 947 with us this morning. We'd hope to have a few more people. We had some issues this morning, but anyway, we're glad to be here and so glad to learn that this is a bipartisan effort now with Senator Capito coming on board. Thank you, Shelley. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Todd. Well, one thing about it, her and I are always united when it comes to West Virginia and fighting for the things that are near and dear to us. Next, we have Wayne McDonald with Logan Veterans Center in Southern West Virginia. Wayne?
Manchin, we have approximately 20 people here, all from Logan and surrounding areas, and we represent the VAV, the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 308, the Purple Heart, and Marine Corps here around in this area. Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much, and I appreciate it. You don't know how important it is to have you all's input and for you all to take time to participate today. And also joining me virtually is my dear friend, Senator Shelley Moore Capito, who is a co-sponsor of our Eliminate the Error Act. And we're all fighting this together. Shelley?
Well, thank you, Joe. And it's great to see all of you from all areas of the state. So I want to thank Senator Manchin and his office for putting this together and for joining our bipartisan delegation of members who want to fight this these recommendations. I mean, I think Woody Williams, thank you for weighing in. You know how precious our veterans' health is to all of us. We know that the 4 medical centers that we're very proud of in West Virginia, that our veterans are by and large very happy with not just their access, but with the quality of care and the different services that are offered to me. And I know that Joe has talked to Secretary McDonough at the VA to say that this is the recommendations as it looks to West Virginians are very wrong, going in the wrong direction, very eliminating emergency services, eliminating surgeries. And so we are fighting together to just eliminate this whole process. It wasn't well thought out. They didn't talk to the stakeholders, in my opinion. They didn't talk to our medical facilities outside of the VA either, which is another source of concern. So these proposed cuts, we are going to fight our hardest. And I think we have a lot of good folks on our side to fight our hardest to make sure these proposed cuts do not go through. So I wanted to let you know that I'm in the middle of committee, and I'm sure Joe is too, but I have Baxter Carr on the line with us so he can report back what everybody's saying and feeling. I want to thank Secretary Diaz. He's been in my office. I see him there with Joe. He's doing a great job on the state level with the governor. So we're a united front here, as we always are, for veterans, for you all, and we thank you for your service. And Joe, again, thank you for including me today. We're up for a fight, but I think we feel all of the energy and passion of everybody who's watching, and we're on your side. Thank you.
Shelley, again, thank you so much for always being that great partner, and I just enjoy working with you so much, fighting for all of our good people in West Virginia. Your dad being a veteran, my dad being a veteran, and all the sacrifices the greatest generations ever given for all of us to have the quality of life we have. But it's good to have you, and thank you and your staff for being involved. And finally, that we are joined by our friend, Ted Diaz. He is our Cabinet Secretary for Veterans Affairs for our great state of West Virginia. And Ted, it's all yours.
Senator Manchin, thank you so much for asking me to be here today. Several weeks ago, I was briefed on the AIR recommendations. At that time, I recognized what the AIR recommendations were, what they meant for West Virginia. It's a reduction in services. It's a reduction in health care access. It's a reduction in mental health care access for our veterans in the state. Since then, I've been working with Governor Justice, the legislature, Senator Manchin, Senator Capito, and our congressional delegation in D.C. And we are all united in making sure that the public is aware what these recommendations mean. And we are also united in eliminating this.
Secretary Diaz, thank you so much. And I just appreciate you making the effort to come here personally to D.C. and how important this is to you and all of our veterans that you represent. And we're very proud to have you in this position.
It's an honor.
I want to thank all of you for being with us today. We last got together to discuss the Air Commission in April. After talking with you all, I knew, Shelley knew, we all had to stop this thing quickly. Back in 2019, we introduced the elimination of the VA Asset and Infrastructure Review, which we call the Air Commission Act. I had only one co-sponsor at that time when we started out, Senator Rounds from South Dakota, and Shelley's been there fighting with us too. So we were both deeply concerned that the Air Commission was just a BRAC-like commission that would target rural states, and basically the rural states get hit the hardest. Now that we finally have the VA recommendations to the Air Commission, turns out that we were right. Hearing from West Virginians and my God for what to get done here in D.C., the insight and information that you gave me at the last town hall was ammunition to fight against the Air Commission. So I decided it was time to reintroduce the elimination of the Air Act. The feedback from all of you that we got and my colleagues here to join me in this fight, and we're proud to say that we're leading the charge of a strong bipartisan group of senators. And that's not easy to come by in the most toxic atmosphere we have. But Shelley and I have been able to show them, if you work together for the purpose that we're here to represent the people of your great state, then it shouldn't matter what the politics are. And to me, we have joined together to eliminate the AIR Act. So we are working very hard on that, and we have more and more coming on all the time to help us with this fight. I took the bill down to the floor yesterday. I know we're going to get it done and eliminate the Air Commission, because I know when we're committed to get something done that means so much to all of us, we make it happen. Now I'd like to hear from you. So we're going to take in all of your questions and concerns and be sure to share with them with the VA. So whatever questions you may have, please present them to us now.
Senator,
Yes,
our first
Mara.
question is from Bud Casto, who is an Army Vietnam veteran from Martinsburg.
Senator,
Hey, Bud, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. And you?
Fine. It's so good to have you. And I think we're the same vintage, because you were a Vietnam veteran from Martinsburg, and that's the same time that we were all called upon. But please, Bud, give me your question.
All right. My question. As veterans, we are hearing how these recommendations are impacting the VA medical centers. keeping and hiring employees. How can the medical centers fill their vacant positions when people don't want to apply and work in a facility that is shutting down?
Yeah, Bud, that makes so much common sense, but you understand common sense is not common in Washington. And with all the challenges we have in rural America today, in rural West Virginia, not having basically the people that can take care of the needs of our veterans, we don't have enough to take care of the general population. I don't know how they think by closing any of our facilities that the hospitals and clinics are going to be able to take care of our veterans, and they don't have that experience. So it's a great question, and it's a topic that we keep bringing up regularly at the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, which I'm on. Just the other week, I asked the VA Assistant Undersecretary for Health, Discovery, Education, and Affiliate Networks about the balance of speeding up the VA hiring and properly vetting applicants. And often when I go to hearings, I check on the number of vacancies that we have in West Virginia, and it usually ranges between 90 and 100. I worry that number will only go up during the Air Commission process, especially when the VA is already losing medical professionals to higher paying private sector jobs. So it's a great example of the unintended consequences of the Air Commission. Veterans in every state deserve equal care, and that isn't going to happen if our smaller states like West Virginia lose out on the infrastructure and staffing through this process because they think that we don't need it. So I just want to thank you, Bud, for the common sense question, and also the common sense that the VA should have and understand. You can't eliminate your way to better health care. You can only basically serve the people who have earned it and deserve it and sacrificed for our country. So thank you. So we're going to take our next question right now.
Senator, the next question is from Jeremy Harrison, an Army combat veteran from Glendale.
Jeremy, please go ahead with your question. Is Jeremy, are you on mute, Jeremy? Sometimes this technology is a little bit tough to navigate. Well, let me just read. Jeremy, are you there? Let me read. I think I have a copy of Jeremy's question. The emergency rooms at the VA medical centers are often an entry point for help for veterans experiencing a mental health crisis. His question is, how is the VA going to continue this service? So, Jeremy, you're absolutely correct. I had the same exact question as you had when I led a large group of bipartisan senators in a letter to President Biden asking. And what I did when I sent the letter, we said, because after our last town hall, one of the messages that I took away was that veterans seek care at the VA because they are understood and respected. I've asked veterans across the state of West Virginia, would you rather go to the private facilities or the private sector or the hospitals, or come to the VA hospitals or our CBOCs and clinics? To a T, 100%. I want to go somewhere where they know who I am and what I've done, and they understand me better. I can guarantee I'm just another face and a number if I go to a hospital or really to just a private clinic. So we've built a support system that our VAs have been depending on, and who's better than the veterans to get the care from their professionals, and they're passionate about that. The people that take jobs at the VA, it's not just a paycheck or a job. It's a commitment to serve those who have sacrificed for us, and I can't thank them enough. So we're going to fight and continue to fight to protect the jobs that we have, but most importantly, to give you the service you deserve.
Okay, thank you, Senator. The next question is from Todd Morris, who is an Army veteran from Montgomery.
Todd, how are you? Go ahead and give me your
Doing
question,
great.
Todd.
Great, thank you. I know that your team has been hard at work researching this, and my question is, how will this affect West Virginia veterans?
Well, given all you've heard, a lot from me on this question, Secretary Diaz would like to talk a minute or two probably about your thoughts on this. So, Secretary Diaz, if you have some remarks on this that you'd like to give Todd your input on.
Thank you. Well, these recommendations, they are so, they impact our veteran population in the state so much. I can't even begin to go through number by number, and line by line, how it affects the health care. Access to health care for veterans with the VA, the VA has the best reputation as far as health care for our veterans. I myself, I've had care in the outside community, since my retirement from the military. And I can tell you, from a personal standpoint, I'm a better, healthier human being, both physically and mentally, because of the VA care that has been provided. Now, as far as impact for the veterans, should these recommendations come to fruition, which we're all fighting that they don't, should they come to fruition, though, the West Virginia healthcare system is not it's not ready to have 72,000 veterans that are receiving VA health care in the state right now. They are not ready to take in that number. Currently, I have the greatest respect for our healthcare system in the state. My father was a surgeon in West Virginia for 40 plus years. I have the greatest respect for my friends that serve in the healthcare field. However, just to cite an example of what they will be facing, what our veterans are going to be facing. My mother-in-law was, a few weeks ago, had a hypertensive crisis where her blood pressure had skyrocketed, and it required her to go to the emergency room right away. She sat in the emergency room for 18 hours before they could get her up on the floor. Now, she's a civilian, not a veteran, but this is what we're looking at. This is what we're facing.
Thank you, Secretary. Appreciate it so much, Todd. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. The next question is from John Alloy, an Army combat veteran from Fairmont.
Hey, John. Good to see
Morning,
you again,
Joe.
buddy.
How are you doing?
Good, honey. What you got?
There you go. First, I'd like to thank you for all the work you're doing on behalf of veterans, especially the West Virginia veterans here. And my question is, one of the community services provided through the Veterans Hospitals is the Homeless Veterans Resource Center. Do the proposed changes include stopping this critically important service to our homeless and nearly homeless veteran population, a population that's already severely disadvantaged?
Well, John, thanks. That's one of the, I think, one of the most critical things we have to face. Veterans, homelessness. There shouldn't be a homeless veteran in the United States of America, let alone anybody in West Virginia. It's absolutely unacceptable and completely avoidable. This Congress, I introduced the Reaching Every Homeless Veteran Act. The bill expands the Department of Labor Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program to all 50 states and U.S. territories. This program offers job training services to veterans experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. You can prevent it if you identify it. And if you identify it, there's not a person or a company or a corporation in America that won't put and prioritize veterans having an opportunity for a job. It's so important because it aims to prevent it, and that's all we're trying to do. Currently, no organization in West Virginia is receiving these funds. And in the past 4 years, only one organization has applied for this program. The Reaching Every Homeless Veterans Act of 2021 would require the Department of Labor to examine why several rural states are not receiving funding and provide community outreach to increase awareness and encourage applications. Most of the time, people just don't know. Most of our centers around the state don't know. So programs like this, John, and the Homeless Veterans Resource Center could be put in jeopardy if we don't have the facilities to base them out. That's where we base out of. So if we don't have them and they go ahead with this type of elimination, it would create more homelessness, and we're not going to do that. So reducing facilities, homeless veterans accessibility to finding resources. They don't even know about a program, and it's going to take that away from them. And that's walking into a VA facility, speaking with an employee. If there's no VA facility to walk into, there's no one to speak to. It'll be a life-changing moment for each and every one of them. So the VA is looking at infrastructure when they made their recommendations to the Air Commission. I don't think so. And a huge factor for them was population. They looked at basically the demographics of our country, the demographics state by state. They didn't look at basically the terrain that we have to cover, the ruralness. When I explain to people in Washington, D.C. and across the country that we don't have one city or town in West Virginia that has population more than 50,000, they think I'm kidding them. Because most states have a population center of one large town or city in their state, then it's sparsely populated. Ours is a state of towns, and it's a complete different demographics than any place they see in the country. So these are the things I'm fighting for, to understand. They need to know who we in West Virginia are. They need to know that we have more veterans per capita than most any state. We fought in every war and conflict. We've shed more blood and lost more lives for the cause of freedom than most any state. And I'll be darned if we're going to sit back and allow you to take the services that our veterans need. We're not going to do that. And it's not going to be done in a quiet way. We're going to make sure you understand. And when we're done with these types of recommendations, they'll never find life again. And they shouldn't. We're not taking the services. We're going to make sure that we have those to offer in every possible facility that we have. So you put your lives on the line to protect the country. You deserve the opportunity to succeed after you've given your service.
Thank you, Senator. Our final question is from Roni Wheeler, who is an Army and Air Force combat veteran from Point Pleasant.
Hey, Ronnie, go ahead, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, Senator. Thank you for being with us. My question is, veterans in rural communities have to travel for medical appointments. If VA medical centers are not available to veterans, how will travel expenses for medical care in the private sector be covered?
Well, Ronnie, thanks again for a great question. Back in 2018, when Congress passed the Mission Act, which included the Air Commission, I was concerned that the commission would be bureaucrats in Washington cutting vital health care access to veterans in rural areas of West Virginia and rural areas across the country. That's why I introduced the elimination of the VA Asset and Infrastructure Review, the Air Commission of 2019 Act. No one paid attention to it. Now that the VA has published its recommendations to the Air Commission, people are through. The VA recommendations are a mile wide and an inch deep. They do not include guidance on how services like travel expenses are going to be dealt with. I also worry that they're overly reliant on population demographics and not enough on the geography. We're a mountainous and rural state. I don't need to tell you all that. We all were raised and grew up here. Did the VA consider the snow areas or snow belts, or the access to road or a lack of access to good roads, and the amount of drive times? It might look on the map, it might be only 30 miles. That 30 miles can take as long as it would take you to drive maybe 50 or 60 miles in another state. I cannot get a clear answer about all those factors, and there's many more I'm asking about. We're not the only state with these concerns. So the Eliminate the Air Act, which I introduced this week, is bipartisan. It has states from across the country, in South Dakota, and the rural states across the plains, and rural states such as West Virginia. We may be a small state, but we're leading the charge on the topic here in Congress. I know we are going to be successful, and I know that we're going to get this done.
Senator, that concludes our questions for today. Thank you for all the questions that we've received in the chat box. We'll get you answers and forward them to the VA. So with that, Senator, if you'd like to make concluding remarks.
Yeah, Mar, let me take another moment to thank everybody, because I know that everyone made an effort to be where they are today, to participate in this town hall, and I think it's so important. This is what the VA should be doing and what they should have done before they put out a report that they put out, which scares the bejesus out of everybody. So I just want to thank you again. Today's been about getting rid of the Air Commission, because it fundamentally hurts rural veterans across the country, and especially in our home state of West Virginia. As your senator from West Virginia, and I speak for myself and Shelley Moore Capito, my friend, two of us are very proud to represent the great state of West Virginia. I can tell you we cannot, nor will we let this happen. I want to be clear, though. I'm against the Air Commission, but I'm 100% for improving our VA infrastructure. It must be improved. If the Air Commission was a fair and holistic look at the nation's VA infrastructure, it would be open to its recommendations. They should be open to our recommendation. Unfortunately, in practice, the recommendations have been based on faulty data taken during a pandemic. Anything that came out of that pandemic, people were not in the right frame of mind. And that's not giving our veterans a fair shake when you're doing it in the most trying times and saying, what do you think about this, this, or this? So once we get rid of the Air Commission, I'm going to work with my colleagues and every one of you to improve and build upon the VA infrastructure we have currently in place. I know that we are going to get it done. I really believe it in my heart, and I want to thank you again, and I never want you all to hesitate to contact my office as we can be of help. I'm happy to have a tremendous staff of veterans that understand your needs, and we're going to make sure that we're there to help you any way possible. Thank each and every one of you. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the great state of West Virginia and the United States of America. Thank you.